All right, welcome to today's lesson. Today is going to be a little bit different. You can find this worksheet either on the Teams files, or you can just use a piece of paper and follow along. But today we're going to be working on another element of ArtNet's form. This is going to help us finish out one of those elements on our long-term project. By now you should have your silhouette done with the lines. You should have your silhouette done with color, and you should have silhouettes done with space. And today we're moving on to form. Today we're going to talk about how we're going to create from this two-dimensional shape, we're going to make it into this three-dimensional shape. And we do that by using shading and using the value of our graphite, or if you choose to use pencil. You're going to have to use either pencil, colored pencil, or crayon for this lesson. You're not going to be able to use anything but that. So you need to go ahead and get yourself one of those. And the first thing we're going to do when we're going from the two-dimensional shape to the three-dimensional shape is that we need to determine where we want our light source to come from in our picture. And so if you're observing a still life or a real life, you're going to look for the shine. So in this piece, we see the shine right here, and we see the shadowing right there. And so by that we can determine that the light is kind of coming up and from this corner. And we're going to mimic that on this side. And in order to do so, we're going to start shading. To get a more even shade, you're going to hold your pencil further back and kind of more an elongated thing than when you are writing, because you're going to end up with a lot smaller of and a lot more jerky of a shading if you're shading like this. So you're going to want to kind of back up a little bit. I like to turn my paper as I go to kind of give me more control. But you're going to shade your darkest area first. You're going to want to get that at least about 80% of your shade, as dark as you can possibly get that. And you're going to gradually get lighter. And you're going to do so kind of in a crescent shape to kind of give that illusion of that curvature of the item. Now, again, we're going to kind of have our shine in that direction, but you're still going to end up with some shading over here. And you're just going to kind of shape. And you're going to work gradually getting lighter until you get to that point. And you are probably going to want to have a pretty good eraser around. You're also going to want to determine how you want to shade. You blend that. You may want to blend it with the eraser, which is you will have to continuously add value when you do that. Or you may want to blend with a blending stick, which you can purchase or create using a piece of paper rolled into a point. And you are going to, or you can just use your finger, which is usually my favorite in most cases. Okay, and so you're going to work on getting that nice and dark over there and really create a nice difference in your tones. Yeah. So you kind of blend that in to make it more smooth. All right, you can take your eraser, you can clean that up a little bit. That's why it's good to have, whenever you're doing a pencil drawing, it's good to have a nice soft eraser around to help you get that nice and cleaned up when you're done with it. And so that kind of creates that sphere look for you. So that's and you can keep playing with it until you have it how you like it. And this just really comes from practice. And so when I was a kid, I was kind of one of those kids who was bored all the time in class and didn't really know what to do, but I wanted to pay attention because I wanted the best grades that I could get. So I would doodle on the side of my paper, and so one of the things I practiced was my three-dimensional shapes. I don't necessarily recommend that if you're going to turn in the paper, but if it's just your notes or something, it's always good. All right, so the next thing we're going to be working on is going from the square to the cube. And again, this one you have to determine two things. First, the light source, and then your vanishing point. The vanishing point is where, if we continue those lines as far off as we could go, how far are we going to stretch those and until they hit as a triangle. And we're going to head towards that vanishing point. And so this is kind of a matter of opinion a little bit. This is finding a good vanishing point is just going to come out of practice and time, and you'll probably have to make some adjustments, but you're going to make some legs, kind of make it look like a sideways table. And then you're going to create parallel lines to connect those that are parallel to this line and this line here. And you're going to connect those. That line is not very parallel right now. They would eventually intersect if they're good. And again, this is why I say it's always good to have a nice eraser with you. All right. So you're going to kind of create that. Then once you determine your light source, you need to determine how you're going to shade. So you'll notice here that this is almost completely white because, in fact, the light is coming from the top, so it's shining right off that top. So we're going to leave that pretty much alone, but our darkest area is right here on the side. And so you're going to create your darkest part of the cube here. All right, and you create that dark. And then you're going to make this almost as dark, but a little bit lighter. Okay. And there's not as much variance when you're doing the cube because, again, it is a flat surface, so it's going to reflect very similarly all the way through on each surface. So you're going to kind of end up with something like that to create a cube. All right, so there's not much to the cube as far as that goes, but it is going to take you some practice getting those lines right there. The next one is the cone, and the cone is a little different. When we take and create a cone out of a triangle, depending on which direction that cone is going to be, you're going to curve that line either out or in. If you curve it in, you're going to need to draw the bottom, and that means that your cone is floating or it's tipped up on its side so that you can see the bottom. In this case, we cannot see the bottom, so we are just going to give it a curve like that at the bottom of that triangle. And they've already done that, and then they determined that the light is from here. But again, because a cone kind of curves differently, this one's going to go from dark to light on an angle and kind of curve around. And so you're going to get that darkest spot in that angle there again, but it's going to get gradually lighter as it gets towards the top, as well as it's going to get gradually lighter as it goes towards the end. And again, I like to shade in the curvature of the item to continue that illusion, but some people prefer to just go ahead and shade straight across. Okay, so it's kind of just your preference on that. Just keep shading, and then you blend it to get that nice continuum, and you might need to use your eraser to clean it up a little bit, and that's okay. And so that gives you your cone. The last one is a cylinder, and this is, we're going to take the this rectangle and turn it into a cylinder. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do the curvature. Well, the thing is that in a cylinder there are still going to be parallel planes. This top is a plane and the bottom is a plane, and so we need to curve those in the same way. So if we're going to curve the bottom out because we can see the top, not the bottom. Then we're going to curve that bottom, and we're going to curve that top like this. And then you're going to end up having to give an opposite curve on the top. And they've already done that here for us, okay? And then we look again, where is the light coming from? Well, it's coming from up here. So this top plane is going to be completely white, and this side is going to be completely white. And so what we're going to do is we're going to focus just pretty heavily right here on this edge where the shadow is, and we're going to just gradually get further and further out.
Please pardon my interruption. Teachers, staff, please do not send any more copies, any more requests for copies to the copier. If it's broke, we will let you know when it's up again. Again, please do not send any more copies to the copiers. Thank you.
I apologize for that interruption. It's one of the blessings of doing live school, is those interruptions, and I apologize. But it is going to be in my thing because I don't feel like redoing my whole video just for that. But that is how you do your cylinder. Now you're going to label these. So this one we decided was a what? A sphere. So it's going to be a sphere. And this one is your cube. This one is your cone. And this one is your cylinder. All right, and so that's how you're going to finish that out, and you're going to take a picture of that for me, and you're going to attach it. You're going to use this to create the end of the next part of your design, and I'm going to show you that in just a minute.